If you want to support these projects, head over to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the Inspire Change t-shirts and much, much more. And please consider becoming a YouTube member with the join button down below. Before that, let's jump into the highlights.
How do you ask for help? Like, you know, somebody who's struggling to, how would they ask for help?
It's really hard to reach out to people and ask for help. Your friends and family might not understand, and people are often well-intentioned, but they say things that might not be helpful. A lot of things that people say about, oh, everything happens for a reason, or you'll find somebody else. They try to minimize your pain because they're uncomfortable. So if you do have somebody you can talk to, absolutely, a friend, a family member. But for the most part, we often find that the people who understand the best, the people who are easiest to talk to, are people who have been there and been through it. So whether it's a support group for somebody who's lost a loved one, or it's an online chat maybe with somebody who can say, yeah, I've been there too. I've lost a brother, a family member, a son, a child. Then often that helps us because, okay, this is somebody who's been through it. Maybe they're further along in the process. Maybe they're right where you are, or maybe their loss is newer and the two of you are just talking about your experiences together. Therapy is often another route that if you reach out to a professional, you can process your individual loss. And it might be a matter of saying, why am I feeling stuck in grief? Maybe your grief is complicated. Maybe you need a little help figuring out how to create new meaning or find a purpose in life after a loss. And therapy can help with that. A therapist can also help you process it and figuring out what does this mean for your life now? And how do you cope? How do you deal with all of those emotions? So to find a therapist, sometimes the best thing you can do is start by talking to your doctor, saying, this is what I'm looking for. But in today's world, we can also find an online therapist pretty easily. So quick search of what you're going through. If you looked up grief therapist, you'll find tons of options and opportunities and places where you could find somebody who you can talk to about this.
One of the things I think about the book is some of the things that people do might rub people up the wrong way. Like, I definitely think some people could almost be offended by some of them, especially when in the depths of grief. And one of them is to stop feeling sorry for yourself. And it's like, I love what is said, but how would you explain that to somebody?
A lot of people will say that too. Like, I have permission to feel sorry for myself because this is what I've been through. But there's a huge difference between being sad and feeling sorry for yourself. Sadness is healthy. It's when you honor something that you've lost. Self-pity is really about taking it to the next step, where you say, my life is so bad that there's nothing that can ever be done about it, that my problems are bigger than everybody else's, my life is worse than everyone else's around me, and nobody can do anything for me, including me. And that's really when we dig in our heels and we stay stuck in a place of pain, when we think, my life is awful, I'm doomed forever, nothing will ever get better, and we don't ever take any action to make our lives or anybody else's lives better. So that's why I warn people against wasting time feeling sorry for themselves, because it is a waste of time. You could easily spend a decade just thinking, this isn't fair, I shouldn't have to deal with this, rather than taking that same amount of time to work on yourself and figure out, how do I heal these emotional wounds?
Yeah, it's not going to change the situation. Like, it has happened. And I think in the book as well, you call it, it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. Could you explain that?
Self-pity definitely can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we think our lives are horrible and awful and nobody will ever help us, we don't do anything to make our lives better. So then 1, 2, 5 years later, we're still stuck in the same place. And it's because we predicted that this was what was going to happen, and then we've made it true. And so many things in life are like that, that when we believe something is going to happen, it turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-pity is definitely one of those things, because when we think nothing is ever going to get any better, we don't take the steps to actually make it better.
I think one of the quotes that was in the book was, how can I look at my situation differently? So like putting like almost a positive, would that be like putting a positive spin on it? Like what does that mean?
I often caution people not to say, okay, there's a silver lining. I lost this person in my life, but here's 5 good things that can come out of it. We don't necessarily want to do that, because yes, something good can come out of our pain, but trying to force a silver lining in a horrible situation doesn't feel good, and often it makes people feel worse. But what you can say is, what's a different way to look at my situation? Maybe you're thinking, okay, this is awful, horrible, my life will never be good again. Well, what's a different outlook? Well, maybe a different outlook is, okay, I went through really tough times, but it's proven to me that I'm stronger than I think. And maybe my life could take a different path now. Maybe I'm not going to have the life that I thought I was going to, but I could still make the best of the situation. And here's how I might do that. Just reminding yourself, just because it's not the life that you wanted or the one that you intended, you can still create a really good plan for yourself. You can still create a really good life. It just may look differently than what you wanted.
Okay, I think this goes on to it is like off the back of self-pity, but it's spoken about in the book as well, is giving away power. And so what does that mean, and what are the detrimental effects of giving away your power?
When we give away our power, we allow other people to control how we think, how we feel, and how we behave. So somebody might say, my mother-in-law makes me feel bad about myself. Your mother-in-law doesn't force you to feel bad. It's about how you respond to maybe the comments she makes or the actions that she takes. But you're in control of how you feel. Or somebody might say, my boss causes me to get really angry. He ruins my day all the time. Well, nobody has the power to ruin your day. That's up to you. And nobody can force you to feel angry. It's up to you how you respond to them. So taking back your power is really about reminding yourself you're in control of how you think, feel, and behave. It's up to you how you spend your time, who you spend it with. And even certain things that may not feel like it's a choice, like you might think, I have to go to work. You don't have to. If you chose not to go to work, you probably wouldn't get paid. You might get fired and you'd create a lot of problems for yourself, but it's still a choice. And taking back your power is just about reminding yourself, okay, these are all my choices. And maybe I'm doing these things to avoid consequences, but it's still because I'm choosing to do it. And when we do that, it just empowers us to know that we're in control of creating whatever kind of life we want. And living our best lives is really up to us.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think ownership of what we're doing and our actions is like so empowering. How do we have ownership over situations that we feel out of control of? So like a loss of somebody, like how do we have ownership of that?
When we go through something that we have zero control over, like a major loss, it's about reminding ourselves, okay, I can't control that, but I can control how I respond to it. And taking back your power might be about saying, here's what I'm going to do with my life now. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to go do something different. Maybe it empowers you to take better care of your health, or maybe it empowers you to spend more time with your loved ones, or to create some changes in terms of how you spend your money or how much time you spend working. And knowing that it's up to you to really take that loss and figure out, is there anything you want to do differently in your life? Or do you want to keep it exactly the same? It's up to you, but the choice is yours. And recognizing that can help you feel more empowered, despite the fact that there are certain things in life you have zero control over.
So other people's opinions are one of them, and the way people feel about you is one of those things. How do we forgive people in the way that they their opinions, and how do we let things go even when it cuts deep? Like, how do we let go of those things?
When you find yourself thinking about something over and over again, like a hurtful conversation, or you can't stop dwelling on the fact that maybe somebody doesn't like you, it's really important to recognize, is this helpful or hurtful right now? Am I developing a solution, or am I just ruminating on the problem? Our tendency is to ruminate. We rehash things over and over again. We think about the same things, and it keeps us stuck. And that's not helpful at all. So I always encourage people to change the channel in your brain. If you find yourself replaying something over and over again, and you're not actually making any progress, then that's the time that it's actually helpful to distract yourself. You might get up and go do something else in the other room. You might call somebody, but don't talk about that thing that's replaying in your head. Talk about something completely different. You want to break that cycle, because the way that we think keeps us stuck in the same emotional state. So if you're thinking about something really hurtful, you're going to feel bad. The more you keep thinking about it, the worse you're going to feel. So you have to change your behavior. So that might be, I'm going to go outside and take a walk for a few minutes. I'm going to listen to music. I'm going to call somebody to talk about something different. And when you do that, it breaks that cycle in your brain so that you don't just keep replaying the same things over and over again.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider going to mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the new Inspire Change t-shirts, the LFG t-shirts, the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirts. Everybody who's been supporting us has made this project possible, and projects like this in the future possible. We cannot fly all around the world with our film crew and ourselves and do these interviews and documentaries without your support. So thank you very much. The support has been amazing and we appreciate it. Also, there is a join button down below where you can consider becoming a YouTube member of this channel by hitting that join button. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to follow us on the behind the scenes stuff of our editor, at Niamh Mulligan, X on Instagram, or at Jordan Mulligan Brother for myself on Instagram as well, you can see what we get up to on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed and productive day. Go inspire some change, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.